we're still here, so we've had everything we needed up to this point. But there's always something more we want, isn't there? Something on the material plane, and yet even deeper, something called divine dissatisfaction, sometimes I think I could call it. On a more practical level, I found out 2 years ago what I needed, desperately. I was sitting in Denver airport, as I do, and I'm ready to go on the plane, we're sitting there reading and all this sort of stuff, and all of a sudden the siren goes off. And these days, you think, oh my goodness, what's this going to be? But anyway, it was a tornado. It was about to descend onto the airport. And I thought, okay, that's good, I'll be able to see it swirling in the distance. But no, not in the distance. It was getting closer and closer, so we're all called out to go down into this basement for our protection. What we did, we sat down for a while, this security man came along and he said, follow me. So we followed him, we opened this door and down we descended into this abyss. The security man went the other way, so we all followed one another down to the bottom of this thing, and there was a door we came to which wouldn't open. And no one had any idea of the procedure. So we're there, and as we are, the air is getting thinner and thinner. And there's from here to the back of the room there were people. They didn't know what was going on in the front, and we didn't know what was happening where we were. We thought, this is it. And one young girl got a bit upset, with mobile phones, you can ring people now, and she was getting quite panicky. And thank goodness, someone went and spoke to her and said, look, come with me. And through the crowd, they took her out, because it was infectious, the fear that just that one call generated. Oh, I'm in trouble. So what happened is, we're there, thank goodness, someone came from security, came down and managed to open the door, and we went into this big room, and we could breathe. Oh, it was a wonderful feeling. Breath. I had everything I needed from there. I didn't care about anything else. It was just good to be out of that terrible situation. Anyway, we were stuck in this place. It was a big barber place, and about half an hour later we go up, and as if nothing had happened. And so we're sitting in the plane, everything's happy, and all of a sudden our desires come back. Yes, I will have a cup of coffee, and all this sort of stuff. But what I needed, and what we all need, is air. We're living souls. That is the first thing we need before anything else. And we know that Spirit has given us every good thing. We may live and move and have our being in it. We are God expressing in it. But if we're not conscious of it, if we're not conscious of this spiritual heritage, our life may not reflect this. We tend to live incompletely. Our incomplete realisation of God's idea for us can't change God's creation and idea for us. It can only temporarily exclude it from us. Now I have a slide here, and this one's telling us our abundant universe is God in action, substance in manifestation, infinite intelligence in expression. Those of you who have done lessons in truth know that in the first chapter, Emily Cady talks about substance. What is substance? Ernest Holmes describes it as the formless back of all forms, the primordial substance which, the ultimate formless stuff from which all things come. Those of you who studied the Bible and went to Sunday school have heard of manna from heaven, bread of life, breath of life, cosmic vibration. In our physical world, substance is stuff materialized. In the beginning, in Genesis, God created the heavens and earth. And amazing about that situation is that how God creates is how we create. In the first chapter, God had an idea, a blueprint, So in the invisible, God's mind, before coming into form, is the eternal idea that makes up creation, that makes us up. We may not be perfect as yet, but we are perfect because we're expanding into that perfection. Some of us are at different layers of it, but that's all part of the growth. It's all good. We'll eventually get there. And the second chapter, God takes the eternal idea and clothes and breathes it into substance, and it becomes matter, form, materialized. In our case, we become a living soul. God saw everything that he had made, and it was very good. And there's our first unity principle. God is absolute good, everywhere present. So why would God, infinite spirit being, wonderful situation in the ocean of love and mercy, why would God want to create? Well, the purpose of creation is that the Creator may express its own wholeness and goodness, and the purpose of our individual expression, and part of us, the creation, is that the Creator may express through us as the individual. It's a mouthful, isn't it? But it's true. The purpose of our individual expression on the part of creation, of God, is that God, the Creator, may express through and as the individual. We are a microcosm of the macrocosm. And as spiritual beings, we come into and out of form. In so doing, we learn about spiritual law in operation. And we do it interacting with each one of us as fellow travellers on the path. Now, if God has given us every good thing, why are there some who are not expressing this? Well, Jesus said there will be poor always, meaning poor in consciousness. But being poor in any area, financially, socially, health or attitude, is still a step on the way, part of the journey to eventual established, abundant consciousness. Adam didn't know he had the Christ seed. Adam, man of dust. And we read through the Bible all the different stages of progression as his consciousness expanded, as mankind's consciousness expanded and expanded, till we reach the figure of Jesus, representing Christ consciousness. So it's all a work in progress. Know the truth, prove the truth. Live the truth, and be free from lack and limitations. We've talked about this book before. It's a title I wished it wasn't quite as basic as it is, The Science of Getting Rich. But he goes on to say in the book what getting rich means. What tends to do away with poverty is not getting the pictures of poverty in your mind, but getting pictures of wealth into the minds of the poor. And that is our job here. Spread the good news of the unity teachings and the universal spiritual law teachings. That was the book Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles. So, what does abundance in our life include? Definition from some dictionary: more than enough, sufficient, plentiful. It isn't just about being rich in money, nothing wrong with that, because money is our medium of exchange. But I believe it includes what St. Paul in Galatians writes about, on the next slide, the fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Even if we only had one or two of those working in our lives, it would be great. Our lives would be almost heaven on earth. We can lift others up if we can uplift ourselves and demonstrate consciousness. We can be trillionaires in consciousness. We were talking the other night, I think it might have been Friday night, and I don't know where the story came from. Someone may enlighten me. Well, so it was the disciples. And they went fishing. And they brought all these fish back in their baskets and walked along, and there was a beggar outside the temple. And the beggar says, "Oh, could I have some fish? I'm hungry." And so Peter said to him, "Sure, you can have a fish, but I'll give you a fishing rod so that you can go out and fish for yourself." And that is what knowing how spiritual law works. We notice Jesus always fed people too, looking in the Bible, the loaves and fishes. With Einstein's new, there was an article this week, what was it, Brett? The law of...
Gravity waves were discovered and actually measured.
Gravity waves have been discovered. Wow. So that's in the paper. There was a good old Herald Sun. So I've kept that article. So there are laws we can't see, but it's been measured. So these laws work, and how do we know? By demonstrating them. And affirming that it is so through thought, feeling, spoken word, and the power responds according to that word. And that lofty word, the Holy Spirit, is just that, the word in action. We decree a thing, and it is done unto us as we believe. And a little book down there, my favourite, Florence Shin, your word is your wand. It's basic, it really is so good. When you see someone read that, and they get a demonstration of it, however small. From little things, big things grow. We shape intelligent energy. So, I suppose you'll know how to do it. How do we precipitate and partake of this abundant universe? Now we have another slide here. Wattles again, it's a great book. There is a thinking stuff, substance, which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. Very similar to our first unity principle. Could anyone tell me what it is? What God? Robin, very good. Very good. God is absolute good. Everywhere present. Even I have to look. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imagined. We can form things in our thoughts, and by impressing our thoughts upon formless substance, we can cause the thing we think about to be created. Third unity principle, anyone? Okay, stop in after class, we'll go through them. Human beings create their experiences by the activity of their thinking. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. And while I'm here, I'll read the other two out. Prayer is creative thinking that heightens the connection with God-mind, and therefore brings forth wisdom, healing, prosperity, and everything good. We all know the last one.
Thoughts, words, and action.
You quote it quite
Help us live the truth every night.
That's right. Knowing and understanding the laws of life, also their truth, are not enough. A person must also live the truth that he or she knows. Don't worry about the noise, it's all part of the routine. But knowing and understanding and putting that into action. Now, to sum up, just wishing we had abundance in all areas of our life is not enough. There is an investment involved. When you're doing advertising, how many 4 points? What is it? Where is it? Where do I get it? What can it do for me? And how much does it cost? Put them into 60 seconds or 30 seconds, but you'll find those 4 or 5 things in just about every advertisement. We work with the right mindset. We start where we are with what we've got, and we do it one step at a time. Transforming those old beliefs that we no longer care about or that aren't helping us on our way. And some of the new beliefs we can replace with some of those old things that we're not necessarily serving us anymore. This is from Catherine Ponder's book. By realising that it is spiritually right instead of spiritually wrong for you to be prosperous. She goes on to say, by feeling elated rather than guilty about wanting to prosper. Isn't that a big one? With all the different layers of consciousness in the world, you can feel guilty that, we've got more than a lot of other people in other countries. By feeling elated rather than guilty about wanting to prosper. By realising that prosperity is a necessity because it gives you freedom from bondage to people, places and possessions. And by realising that it gives you total freedom to grow and to expand your world in countless ways. It's amazing what some of the people are doing. I think it's Madonna's sending money to Africa, Brad Pitt and George Clooney have sent a satellite over the Sudan to see how the people are living, all with their own money. And I read somewhere, can capitalism save the world? Well, I don't want to get into that. But I'll tell you what, it's a good start because a lot of people are using it in their different ways to uplift countries, people. Even on a small level, the micro loans and things we hear about. From little things, big things go again. Ponder also says too, a couple of affirmations. I now open my mind to rich ideas, to rich results. I am rich in mind and manifestation now. And my favourite one I used when I was just making ends meet. I am receiving. I am receiving now. I am receiving all the wealth the universe has for me now. And let's work ourselves into the consciousness of accepting that and receiving it. And remember, to receive, we give. Whatever we have, there's always something we can give. And there again, we see the demonstration. So experience teaches us how to work with the spiritual law. Not only abundance on the physical plane, which we will eventually perish, but what about that divine dissatisfaction? We're all wanting something else. That song, is that all there is? That Peggy Lee song. It's a soul song. There's got to be more than just this, as wonderful as it is. Spiritual law and achieve not only abundance, as we said here, but on the spiritual side of our life. So I ask you this day to choose who you will serve. I have faith you will choose wisely and well, and will use these universal spiritual laws for your life in this sanctuary. And we shall see it demonstrated. So be it. Thank you.